Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marveling in the Madness with myself, Stephen Matembu, and we have Dominique again, as always, in the building. Let's go. Another great intro. I'm
Welcome,
firing today.
everyone.
Let's go. Ah, anyway, how are you
I,
doing, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm very well. How are you? I'm. By the way, I'm glad that we chose you as the one doing the intros because it
Hmm.
provides entertainment for
Well, we
me.
never really discussed this. I think I just kind of took over, and obviously, I'm really good at it. So, obviously, moving forward, that's just a step we're going to take. Not so at some point you will at some point you'll do it. Anyway, yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. All right. So we have some weird and crazy kind of out there stories.
Nice.
Don't know which one to go with first because they're both kind of out there, but I think maybe go with the samurai sword sort of monopoly game that just sort of spiraled out of control. So
It,
we'll begin there.
yeah, that was a crazy story. So if I read the story right, there was four guys playing Monopoly, and some neighbors came out and weren't very happy. And then one of the neighbors' sons brought a sword out, and somehow
Samurai sword. Don't play Monopoly
somehow
board.
some of the Monopoly players and this guy, one of the Monopoly players and this guy ended up in a brutally injured by this sword, and both are in hospital.
Yeah, we're making light. Obviously, it is now a serious situation because when I read the story, it said the guy's actually still fighting for his life. You just think like, how bad could it be? You know, it's a game of Monopoly. Obviously, you all get a little bit frustrated and everything, but I've never seen it escalate to this sort of level. It's just when I read it, I was
No,
like, "There's no way this is true." But
I don't.
it's
I don't even
crazy.
think. Yeah, I don't even think it was the people involved in the Monopoly. Well, like it was one of the neighbor. I think the guys were playing Monopoly out on the street apparently, and then
Yeah,
the
so they
neighbor.
were in front of their house. So for whatever reason, the neighbors weren't happy. Or I can't even say neighbors. We don't know if they were neighbors or not. But the people that were in front of their house basically weren't happy, and then decided to come out. And then obviously this whole thing just
My
escalated
gosh, it's like the fact that
7,000%.
somebody's playing Monopoly in front of your house. Yeah, it's irritating, but how that then ends in two guys ending up in hospital, like fighting for their lives, it's
I mean,
just
it's crazy, isn't it?
it's absurd. Like, and who just has a samurai sword? You're like, you know what? My dad's shouting at someone outside. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a samurai sword out. I'm not going to take a Monopoly board out. That wouldn't do anything.
Just play alongside them. Like, yeah, you want to play Monopoly? We'll play Monopoly.
We'll
Especially
play
after
next year.
you guys. Just go in there, like flip their board, like, no, just like playing Monopoly. But yeah,
uh,
it's odd. It's so odd because you think nothing ever gets sold with the weapon. Let's be honest.
no, you've
Obviously, it's
just
heat of the moment stuff, but still crazy.
you made the situation 10 times worse by
Yeah,
taking a sword to a Monopoly game.
yeah,
But yeah, I just well, a we hope they're both all right and
yeah.
recover, make a full recovery because horrendous. But how it got to that is just beyond belief. You'd think it's something from a cartoon sketch if you hadn't like really.
Yeah, I sort of double took what I was reading. I was like, this, there's just no way this is real, but it's absolutely insane.
I know. Well,
So,
yeah,
word of advice to people: don't play Monopoly outside people's houses.
yeah. They go do crazy
Or
things can happen.
don't bring a samurai sword to a Monopoly game.
Yeah, that.
It's just so many things. I love it, and like I know I shouldn't because it's still people fighting for their lives, and hopefully, like I say, they make a full recovery. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, we're not laughing about the injury. We're laughing about the
no, just
absurdity
the
of the
situation
situation.
itself.
Yeah,
Like it's one you never find yourself in. Like we all know about like Monopoly games can get quite heated just by
yeah.
themselves because people. I don't like people when they cheat in Monopoly, so yeah, I'm watching you. Don't be cheating in my game. Don't cheat me. So that's the idea when I was getting like when I was reading this story. So I was like just preconceived. I was like, oh, okay, so maybe someone's just cheated, they flipped the board, people start firing. Like, it's gonna be the standard stuff. And then as I'm reading along, I'm like, nope, that's nowhere near where that was going.
Just a dude brought a sword out, and inevitably things ended badly. And you just think, oh well, yeah, lots of prayers and thoughts with the people who are injured, and we really hope they recover quickly. But absurd, absolutely absurd story.
Yes. Yeah. Don't know
Yes.
why I saw word. We'll move on to the other one, which is also quite not in the same way creepy, but this one's way more creepier. So, what's it? The chatbot. I forget what it's called.
It's ChatGPT, isn't it? I think.
That's the one. Yeah. So they put that into a Furby. I'll let you further explain because I'm not good at explaining stuff.
Yeah. So a student somewhere has put has connected ChatGPT.
Oh, you're not gonna remember her name. You're not gonna give her credit.
Yeah, we should give her some credit. I don't know her name. But the student, and you can search her name in the news article, has connected a Furby to a ChatGPT, which is a AI, artificial intelligence, for anyone who doesn't know, and it means that this Furby now basically, and Furbies, as the article says, Furbies were a little bit creepy, especially a decapitated Furby head, as this particularly happens to be. And yeah, it now can talk back to you and think like AI. In the particular clip they show, they said what were Furby's plans for global domination, basically, and the Furby explained in quite graphic detail. Well, not graphic, but quite a lot of detail as to how they were intending to take over the planet, which was quite amusing. Anyway, you can see the article. It's we looked at it on Sky News, but yeah,
watching the video, it was like super creepy. You know, they're like, oh, we want world domination just by being children's homes, and we're always going to be listening. So it's just creepy. But I suppose it's no different to having like an Alexa or any other thing that in your house that's constantly listening to you for your commands or whatnot. But I'm like, what else are they listening for? It's a little creepy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jessica Card is her name, by the way.
Hey,
if you want to know,
give her the credit that she deserves.
Vermont University. So well done to her. She possibly created the creepiest army in the world of AI. So it does raise questions, doesn't it, about I'm not going to say my Furby's going to start attacking me in my sleep, but I don't have a Furby either, so that'd be a start.
Where do you go with this? But it's got a secret collection of Furbies in your closet. It's okay, bro. Everyone needs a hobby.
I'm a collector of Furbies. Yeah, you just open my wardrobe up and they're all staring at you.
Fall out.
But no, I was just gonna say it's not. We're not. I don't think that's quite at the stage of like Terminator. It'd be a bit different film if like Terminator, instead of like you had the robots looking like humans chasing down Terminator, it was the humans.
I think that'd be kind of fun though. You know, get a little
Furbies
out. You start, just smashing up some robots that look like Furbies, just talking absolute nonsense. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Furbies with chainsaw.
I mean, that might be a bit more creepy. I suppose if I woke up first thing and it was like a Furby staring over with a chainsaw, probably better ways to wake up.
Just Furbies just standing over you with like sharp implements, like
yeah, that could be a little creepy. So
it's really cute thing.
Future advice to myself: just stand by. Well, to be fair, I'm never gonna buy a Furby anyway. I thought they were super creepy little things anyway.
Well, yeah, especially now they probably have more. If they start linking ChatGPT to all of them, they'll all have more brain power than most humans. Well, all of us probably. So, like, anyway, that's it. I never thought the robotic apocalypse would come in the form of Furbies.
That would be super creepy. To be fair, that would be odd. We always worry about AI, like AI even taking over jobs and whatnot. But no, apparently you're all gonna die by a Furby. Although it'd be really funny if they didn't this day small regular stars and still trying to take over the world. That would be hilarious.
just production lines, like car production lines, things all just start producing little Furbies.
This might be bad for business. I wonder if their stock sort of tanked after this article. Probably not, but it'd be funny if it did.
I don't. Do they even still sell Furbies?
I honestly have no idea. I completely forgot they existed till I looked at that story.
I think my parents still have one at home. I think it's either my sister's or mine. Well, thankfully, I don't think that one's linked up to ChatGPT until some other Furbies break into our house and align it with the global Furby uprising.
The global there's a furry. That's something completely
global Furry uprising.
People, that one's probably more likely. I've heard some dodgy stories. That one's probably more likely.
No shaving. No one shave anymore.
Ooh.
We're all just going to go long beards.
Yeah, especially now it's coming up to summer. That is a perfect time.
That's it. That's it.
Ugh. How very odd. How very odd.
Well, there we go. So we've broken down the AI apocalypse into something much less. Is it more terrifying or less? I don't know.
I just think it's more funny and not really scary. Depends on which way they want to take over the world. They'll still be kind of cute and funny if they're just like waddling along everywhere.
You just get buried under the weight of them, like 10,000 Furbies just fall on you, and you just.
Hey, some people would love that. Each their own. I'm not here to judge.
How did you die? Oh, I got crushed under the weight of 10,000 Furbies.
Unbelievable.
Or even better, they start. Like I was just saying, like like Ghostbusters, where there's like the giant aliens, like
yes,
not aliens, giant ghost comes out, like the marshmallow dude. But they make like the Furbies make a giant version of
okay,
Furbies.
That would be creepy.
Like Godzilla size. Just Furbyzilla.
And someone's going to take that and make a movie out of that.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to see the uprising of the Furbies now.
That's it. We've started. Oh, it doesn't mean now we started a trend. Like Furbies are coming back.
Hashtag Furbyzilla.
Maybe we could make that movie. It'd be a terrible movie. It would be funny. It'll be so bad. It's good.
One of my friends used to watch those like the animal horrors, but they're like stupid horrors. So there's one like giant grizzly bears. I think it was about giant grizzly bears. I don't know what the film was called, but anyway, it was like the grizzly bears were sort of like normal sized grizzly bears for the most part. And then at one point they were hiding in. We skipped through it because it was not very good to watch. But partway through it, they were hiding in a log, and if you paused it, you could see the cameraman sat at the side to the log. Those are the sort of films that are entertaining. It was one of those films that's just funny to like, I think they did it for fun, to be honest. But it's just
Why not?
I don't know what the name of the film was. I just remember it was about giant grizzly bears.
I mean, it doesn't sound too dissimilar to the one that's been released in cinemas. I think it's called like Cocaine Bear or something.
Oh yeah.
So weirder movies have been made.
There are some strange, like Sharknado.
Never actually watched that. Apparently, that's got 3 films.
About a tornado filled with sharks, I think, isn't it?
Maybe I've never actually sat down to watch it. To be honest, like to me, it was always just a meme, like one of those things you just joke about watching, but you've never actually watched. Well, I haven't anyway.
There's a lot of things like that, isn't it? Like just films you hear about, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah, I ain't got the time for that. All right, so moving on to also more creepy things. So apparently the Pentagon released a statement that there's a mothership out there, and in their own words, I'm going to quote them, that they're sending probes out around around Earth, whatever probes do. I was just thinking they didn't need to use the word probes.
Yeah, probably not. It doesn't fill you with. Doesn't fill you with thing. Did they say it has, or did they say it might be?
I think they said it might be, or it's more than likely. So
it is possible. I was just rereading. I was just reading it now. Hopefully, yeah. That.
Which also think is like a weird thing for them to release, because surely, like if you have found like intelligent life, so you want to keep that to yourself for a while till you figure out, can we use that technology? Can we communicate with them, etc., etc. Why do you now broadcast that to the world? Maybe even like create a bit of mass panic, because we all know there's people that have tinfoil hats on and the love of conspiracy theory. I'm included in that, so you know what I mean. So I just think, why release that information? It's just crazy, because we all want to know what goes on in the area. Is it Area 51? Apparently, they have some odd technology in there. Who knows?
It's probably just a secret research lab for high profile American research.
Yeah, but we want to know. If you want to talk, if they're releasing stuff about aliens, then like let us know what's going on in there, man.
To be honest, they're probably happy everyone talking about aliens, because it probably distracts from the research they're actually doing into high tech stuff that will give them an edge over their enemies, so to speak.
Yeah, it don't matter. Nuclear war, we're all gonna die. It don't matter.
You're so yeah, it's optimistic. Yeah, I don't know. I find it quite an amusing story. I suppose like the theory that there could be aliens out there, like possible, and
I think it has to be, in the vast amount of space that we have. If we're the only like living creatures have, done quite well, or not, don't want to say done quite well in life, but made an existence, something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we're the only ones, I feel like that's so boring.
It's quite cool in a way though as well. Like if we were the only ones in the entire universe, that makes it quite cool that the entire universe kind of just exists, but we're the only ones that can like enjoy it and experience it. That'd be quite.
I think it sucks because then this is the only things we've done with it.
Oh yeah, we've done some stupid stuff, but
then it kind of means like everything we really do doesn't matter at all. Because then, like, if there's no other life, you know what I mean?
Well, let's be honest. In the grand scheme of the universe, in terms of the universe itself, what humans do on this Earth really does not make an impact on the universe. Probably the worst thing that we'll do is blow up ourselves or a few other local planets. But in the grand scheme of the universe, that is really going to have very negative effect. Now, in the grand scheme of our universe, in terms of like humanity, then yes, of course, what we do makes a massive difference. But I think it depends on the scale you're looking at, I suppose.
I suppose everything is a little bit more relative.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think obviously in our universe, like you go out and do harm someone, that makes a massive difference to them and to their families and the local community. So yeah, I think it's important to keep the perspective. But yeah, it's a really interesting story that they think there could possibly be a mothership out there sending probes. Which you do talk about probing things, but with aliens, it's probably not a great idea to use the term probes.
No, because your mind wanders to other places.
Yeah, to all these films where they say the aliens were probing and investigating people. Which that really will get everyone out worried about being abducted by aliens. It's those weather balloons. It's back to those really weather balloons, too.
Crazy times. Although it'd be kind of cool though. I'm like, yeah, I want an Independence Day. Obviously, I don't want loads of people to die. Just so I can see aliens.
I want an independent. I want a war with the aliens that we clearly wouldn't win.
It doesn't have to be a war, but let's just see them. Like, do they have cool technology? Come on now.
To be honest, if they're traveling between planets, they have far greater technology than we have.
Because I'm tired of all those like small videos, well not small videos, but videos you'd watch, and it's just like we follow like this little tic tac thing, and we don't know what it is. They're so boring. Where's like the HD? All this like quality camera stuff we have, we still getting like little blobs on the screen, and we're following that around. I'm like, jarring. What a drag. Give me some actual, big ass alien ships. I don't ask for a lot, I don't ask for a lot.
I feel like if they did have an alien ship, it'd probably be. I don't know. Imagine if you were traveling through space, or like on large journeys, you'd effectively be a civilization unto yourself. I'd have thought, unless they found a way to somehow break what we know as mod of physics in terms of like traveling speed, then I suspect it would be an enormous ship, maybe even something similar to the size of like planet Earth, maybe smaller, but massive, big enough to have like a nation within it, basically.
Because when you're like following these little tic tac things that they say are like aliens or whatnot, they say like it doesn't move like how normal planes and everything move. Like it can accelerate quite quickly up and down. Whereas obviously our plane, you have to turn. Yeah, there's a whole thing to it. So I feel like the technology probably would be a bit more advanced, but
yeah,
obviously still yet to be seen. But do you think they would actually care about us? Because think about like. There's so many things we don't care about. Like, if you see an ant on the floor, you're not going to really want to know what it's doing. You're like, it's an ant on the floor.
Well, you might investigate it for scientific purposes, but
I probably wouldn't.
I don't.
Yeah,
you're wired differently to me. I don't suppose they'd. I don't suppose they see us as a threat. If they could travel across the universe, then they aren't going to see us who can barely wake up in the morning and do our day jobs as particularly much of a threat. I don't suppose their technology would feel particularly threatened. So no, you're probably right. In some ways, it'd be more of a scientific curiosity, and That's not giving credence to the fact that they're abducting random people from a random planet for probe.
I mean, I just
I might be
wonder
wrong. I might be wrong, but I'm not saying that's what they're doing. Is basically what I'm saying.
I just want you to explain like how they made the pyramids. Come on now. You need to come down and explain how they made the pyramids, because I just feel like there's no way like
manpower. They did not make the pyramids.
Did they not? You really believe man just can just make pyramids? Because they say even in like today's technology, it'll take them a really long time to move some of the blocks, and like how they have everything so perfectly placed.
Yeah. It was impressive what they could do, but do you really think the aliens would just come down and build a load of random pyramids in Egypt?
I think so. Well, it's not just in Egypt. Well, it's not just in Egypt. There's some in Peru.
Yeah, there are some.
Mexico and a few other places.
It's interesting that a few nations around the world. More interestingly for me on that front is why certain nations in particular parts of the world seem to have the same idea in terms of building pyramids. And they weren't like, I don't think the pyramids in like Peru are the same as the ones in Egypt. But
no, they're very different.
They're very different. But in terms of why those nations, I'm sure there's probably research out there that links it. Maybe, I don't know. But that's quite interesting to me. It's like
they also not serve a similar purpose, but they also like align with like stars and whatnot, which is also kind of weird. Like, how did they know like how to geometrically just line things up with stars? Like we'll probably struggle with that today again, but they did it more or less so perfectly back then, which is odd.
They were very good at astrology and things back in the past. Like they obviously use, I think, sailors and people obviously use stars to travel by, didn't they? And people used it to guide them around places. So actually, in terms of astrology, and I guess a lot of nations also worship the stars. Probably, I don't know enough about ancient religions and things, but I think that is true. Certainly, it's from my limited knowledge of different ones. It is. Yeah. So I think, to be honest, they had a lot of slave labor, and they had a lot of. They thought they were doing it for their god king, so they put a lot of time and effort into it. There's some amazing, like when humans put their minds to things, they can do incredible things. Back in the day, like you look at some of the cathedrals that have been built, which are like modern tradesmen would really struggle because they don't do that sort of thing on the regular. But like some of the cathedrals are incredible buildings, and there's a I think it's a pumping station or something in London. I think it is, and it was built by Victorian engineers. One of the guys at work told me about it, and like if you look inside it, it is like unbelievably well like designed, and like the art and decor inside it is phenomenal. But it was only going to be seen by like the engineers. They just did it for their own, I guess, their own pride and their own. This is what we can do. It's incredible, like the buildings of like Victorians and other nations. So the fact that the Egyptians managed to build these pyramids so well, it doesn't surprise me. If you put your mind to it, it's amazing what people can do.
I don't know, it just doesn't seem to add up for my liking, because like the mountains from where like they had to cut these stones to then move it to actually create these pyramids were like hundreds of kilometers away. So it's not just cutting it, it's now moving it. I don't know, it just doesn't add up. You can have as many slaves as you want. It's still going to take us, like, even if we did it today, it would still take us a long time. And they have to deal with, what, a couple of decades? Because I don't know how long pharaohs lived back in the day, but I can't imagine that long.
I think sometimes they build them before, but sometimes I think they build them afterwards. I don't know, but I think they build them. Because some of them, I think I might be wrong here, so don't quote me on it, but I think they might have interned them sometimes for a while and then bury them in the. I don't know. I can't remember quite how it all works, but it like there's the cathedral in Spain that they're building or have been building, and that's been being built for over 100 odd years. And they thought when it was started, it would take 700 years to build. I think it was, and it like you look at it and you go, that's amazing. But like with modern technology, obviously we're speeding it up. But Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me.
Aliens.
You've got enough slave labor. It's amazing what you can do, in terms of like forcing through structures. Obviously, the morals of slave labor absolutely terrible and horrendous. But obviously, in terms of them being able to build things, they had a lot of labor that couldn't really say no, and they would work long hours and just do what they were forced to do. So crazy. It is crazy though. It's amazing. Like there's some great, like in terms of architecture around the world, there are some absolutely amazing things, aren't there? You talk about the Colossus of Rhodes. It's one of the ancient wonders of the world, supposedly. A giant colossus that's spanned across the bay.
Okay. I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, and obviously the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. So, like, if you look around this, if you look at the 7 ancient wonders of the world, there were some truly spectacular pieces, I think. But again, they were probably largely kings and people forcing lots of people to do their bidding, whether slave labor or serfs or whatever was used, which is terrible. And you wouldn't want to do that in the modern world, although sadly it still happens. But also, they, by doing that, they force some incredible structures as well. Yeah.
Aliens, man, aliens. After 5 minutes of going on a long rant, aliens, bro. Just I'm gonna throw that down too. Everything you said, aliens.
That's your conclusion. Aliens. It's really aliens. Sorry for the 5-minute rant, by the way.
Oh gosh. So when on some, well, not that anything's been negative, but on a more positive note, a boy is back where he belongs. King of, I can't remember, is it middleweights? Yeah, king of the middleweights again. He fought Alex Pereira over the weekend. 2 rounds. Although to be fair, when I rewatched the fight, because I didn't want to watch it at like stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was going his way for the most part, to be honest. So it was only 2 rounds. But yeah, I think like the first round, he looked like he was struggling a little bit, but then out of nowhere, solid knockout blow, puts him to sleep.
That's that is the thing with certain fighters that particularly hold a lot of explosive knockout power. You can be losing a fight and just your opponent drops their guard for a moment, then they're down. It
was like the last sort of 20 seconds of like round 2, and he's pretty much has his back on the wall, is getting wailed on, and then out of nowhere just throws, I think it's a right hook or something like that. And then just changes it. That's it. Game over. Throws another one on the canvas, then throws 1 or 2 punches on the floor. That's it.
Done.
Lights out.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's a brutal sport. But yeah, it's like boxers at the top of a certain box at the top of the game. Like they might be getting beaten, but if you've got that potential to unleash a shot that knocks someone out in one blow, then you've always got a chance of winning. So
this be true. This be true.
Yeah.
Just want to give a little mention. One of my favorites. I mean, I'm a super casual fan, so
yeah, I don't follow it that much, but
yeah,
I'm interested in the skill from time to time.
With all that being said, I think we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else you want to add?
No, just my very, very briefly, my teacher section. It's obviously the holidays at the moment, so everyone can have and for the kids, I hope everyone has an enjoyable Easter holiday. But my wife is dragging me or her father into getting some tires from a local tire place, and so she could take them. So she could take them into her playground, get the playground all. I don't know what she's using them for, to be honest, but separation probably, or maybe flower beds. I don't know. There we go. There we go. So
thank you for that.
We're still on the tires.
I was gonna make a joke there. No, we're just gonna move on. Okay, so this has been Marbling the Madness. I've been Stephen Matembu with the greatest host, Dominic Tor. See you next time.
See you next time.